Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So today we're talking all about financial fear. If you struggle with even the concept of finances, and if you cringe just hearing the word finances, and you feel like you should know more about finances than you already do, then this episode and the whole podcast really is for you. If you're stuck in this cycle of wanting more money, but you're afraid of what that really means, more risk, more responsibility, more taxes, then you could be actively repelling money from coming into your life. As entrepreneurs, we're obsessed with finding new income strategies, new sales tactics, ways to close deals, ways to market ourselves, gain more clients, release more offers, launch, all of these things. And we're obsessed with, oh my God, I had a revenue goal of 100K. I met my 100K. I had a, 50K launch, a 20K launch, a $200,000 year, $1 million year, whatever that looks like. We love those metrics and we love those achievements, milestones, labels. But deep down, are you really welcoming all that money into your life and treating it well? Are you managing it well? Are you looking at it and taking care of it? If you want money flowing to you, if you want more money coming into your life, you need to welcome it into your life. You need to have an energy around you that welcomes money into your life. And I've always said, I'm not a woo-woo person, but I do believe that your attitude is everything. And if your attitude is, I'm not really good at this. I'm not really a numbers person. I don't want to make too much money because then I have to pay money in taxes. Then you're going to exhibit behaviors where you repel getting more money. And we don't want that because we want you to succeed in business and make a bigger impact. So when it comes to financial fear, it's a very real thing, but it's not always obvious that you have this financial fear rooted in your behaviors. So I came up with 3 major signs that you have some deep-rooted financial fear to address. And I want you to examine these different factors and understand how they came to be. And also, what can you do to overcome them? And what can you do to reverse the effects of these things? So the first one is avoiding finances altogether. Now, we tend to avoid things that make us uncomfortable. We avoid things that are difficult. And we avoid things that have no immediate negative impact caused by us avoiding them. Here's an example. Let's say you hate exercising. If you skip a workout and for one day, right, you skip a workout and then you realize, I woke up the next day. I didn't feel any worse, really. I don't feel like my muscles are shrinking. I didn't gain any weight today. That was okay. I'll forgive myself. I skipped a workout. Fine. But that happens for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, a year. What do you think the effects are? You're probably going to lose energy. You're probably going to gain weight. You're probably going to atrophy your muscles, meaning that they will become smaller or less strong. You'll lose strength and you may be tired and you may actually get sick. So I like to define a problem as avoidance plus time. Avoidance plus time usually equals problems. Most problems, especially in the financial world, are due to those factors combined. And the irony of it is that we avoid things out of the fear of them being problems. We think that we get an IRS letter and we think that's a problem, so we avoid it. And the truth is, it's not even a problem. The reality is most IRS letters you get require a phone call, a letter back, a fax message, and they're handled 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour maybe. And it's handled and it goes away. Or maybe even you write a check and it goes away. But we let it sit there. We let it sit there. They accumulate. Time goes by. And next thing you know, the deadline goes by to respond. And now the IRS is sending you other notices. And then they're sending you more. And then they're imposing penalties and interest because you're not getting back to them. And that's really where the problems come up. And what's strange is you were afraid of that first letter. That first letter just said, hey, can you get back to us? But you let it sit there. And now it's a problem. So instead of letting it grow into a problem, what I want you to do is just as they come in, address them, get rid of them, and don't let them build up in your mind. Because the more of these things that you turn into mountains, right? The more molehills you turn into mountains, then the more you're going to assume everything's a mountain. And we don't want to associate an IRS letter with a huge problem. We don't. Because then you'll have a shot of adrenaline when you see one, you'll be scared, and you won't know what to do, and it will stress you out. So instead, just address it. Get it off your shoulders. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. It can be handled. I'd say 99% of IRS letters can be handled with an appeal letter or a check, neither one of which take much time to write. So I encourage you, get out of that rut of avoiding, because the avoiding is what creates the problem that you're actually avoiding. For my fellow tax and accounting professionals out there, we are in the thick of another tax season and still recovering from the last few years. By now, you're probably considering making the switch to offering advisory and fractional CFO services and saying adios to transactional tax prep work. A couple of years ago, I knew I was done with busy seasons and late nights, but I didn't know how to get out of the pattern or get clients to want these new services. Enter the CFO Accelerator and my mentor, Michael King. I'm so excited to share that Michael and his team are hosting the CFO Accelerator Live in Dallas, Texas, May 16th through 18th. Join me and a community of other fractional CFOs to learn the 7-step framework that Michael and his team implemented to grow to 7 figures in revenue. You'll leave the CFO Accelerator Live with an entirely new set of game-changing tools that are going to give you the confidence in how you've set up your services, drastically reduce the amount of time and frustration needed to grow your firm, and maximize the impact that you can have with your client. Click on the link in the show notes to snag a ticket at a special price exclusively for Keep What You Earn listeners. I will see you there. The other thing, so number 2, the other thing that I see that tells me that someone has financial fear is the blame on a lack of education. So you're avoiding your finances and say, why are you avoiding that? Oh, I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand this stuff. I never learned this in school. My parents never taught me anything about finances, and I'm just helpless to this. I don't know what's going on. Okay. But as you get older, does your ability to learn new things really diminish that much? And one could argue, yes, I understand how the body grows and how it's harder to learn new things as you age. For example, I could probably not restudy and pass the CPA exam on the first try right now. But I understand that. But when it comes to financial literacy, it's okay we never learned it in school. And I never learned it in school either. Not really. We had a couple of classes in high school and I chose to study it in college. But the average person has never received any type of formal financial education. But we live in the age of the internet. We have the ability to seek out knowledge in any area that we so choose. Heck, we can ask Siri, Google, Alexa, and Cortana, and all of the AI in the world to help us. And we have so many resources at our fingertips that our parents didn't have. We owe it to ourselves and our future generation to break that cycle and to educate ourselves and to encourage our future generations to educate themselves as well. So if we can't help them, we should still encourage them to get the knowledge that they need somehow. And we talk about the ability to learn, right? So if you're over 30 and you're thinking, I don't even know how to read my insurance policies, my credit card statements, I don't know what I should be doing around my money, I don't know, I have no retirement savings, I don't know what a 401k is. It's okay. It's okay. But if you are over 30, does that mean you can't learn how to swim? You can't learn a new language, ride a bike, drive a car? things like that? Can you not learn it, or do you just not want to put forth the effort? And the interesting thing about any of these things I just named is that the payoff is huge. If you're able to learn a new language, look what you can accomplish. If you're able to drive a car, look what you can accomplish. Look what that unlocks for you. Look at the capabilities you have now, the superpowers that you accumulate that you didn't have before. And financial literacy is no different. The more that you learn and understand and seek out more help, the more you'll be able to help other people and yourself and take care of yourself. This is the fundamentals of a growth mindset. Growth mindset is really all about the flexibility of your brain to expand and learn new things as you grow and to become stronger, as opposed to a fixed mindset, which suggests that you have a certain amount of knowledge, a certain amount of inherent skills or ability to learn, and it hits a certain point and you're done. And sorry, I'm not accepting any more knowledge at this point. This is who I am and this is how I'm going to be. And most entrepreneurs, if you're like me and you're listening to this podcast, I would hope you are adopting or in pursuit of a very strong growth mindset. Any business owner should probably have a growth mindset so that they are always looking to improve. You can't blame your circumstances anymore. You can't blame, the education you may or may not have received in your first 20 years of life for your inability to learn these new skills in the latter 80 years of life. You have plenty of time. You're actually blaming the school system for not teaching you this over the course of, let's say, 12 grades, 12 years. Well, I wasted those 12 years not learning this, so I'm done. No, look how much time you have left. Look how much time you have left. You have plenty of time to learn this stuff. You just have to find the right teacher. You just have to find someone who understands it and can explain it to you one by one using practical examples. And that person is out there for you. It may not be me. It may not be your accountant. It may not be your parents, but there's somebody out there who can explain this and that will resonate with you. And I encourage you to seek out that knowledge. The last thing that I see when it comes to financial fear is giving yourself an identity. And this goes back to that fixed mindset. If you're saying to yourself or to other people, I'm not good with money. I'm not a numbers person. I'm not, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not this, I'm not that. The I am part of that statement means you're assigning identity. You're choosing to adopt an identity as I am not a numbers person. That's a permanent state of being. And your brain is hearing that I'm not a numbers person. Therefore, I reject all things with numbers. Don't even tell me. Don't talk to me. Nope. Don't want to see it. The reframe on that is I'm working on mastering numbers. I'm working on understanding my money. I'm currently learning more about, I'm currently working with someone on, right? Commit to what are you currently doing and what's the status of it, the temporary status. I'm working on this. I'm growing in this area because your brain hears that. And you want to convince your brain that that's the direction you're moving in is forward. You're not stuck in I am. You've got to reframe those things. You've got to reframe those statements and understand that when you repeat those over and over, you begin to truly believe them. And then you're actually not welcoming in more money knowledge because you believe that you're immune from having to accept any more into your life. And that's just not the case. That's not the way that you move forward. And no, you don't have to have the intention to become a CPA, become a financial expert. We're not asking you to develop a huge expertise in this area. But what you should do is learn new skills in the area of finance for utility, for the ability to use them in your business, in your life, what you need so that you can meet your goals and you can understand the advice of professionals and you know what's going on. Because when you feel like you're part of the process and you're involved and you're following along, you feel so much more empowered to make decisions and more confident in everything that you do. So, all in all, what I'm asking you to do is make the commitment to looking at your financial fear, recognizing what it is, and realize that it only exists because you've allowed it to. Make a conscious effort to reverse the fear and talk over that voice that's telling you you're not good at this. Commit to that growth mindset and start watching how your knowledge and your abundance grow with you. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.